How did a few ruthless men manage to rise to the top of the criminal underworld, controlling entire cities and even influencing governments? Organized crime isn't just about illegal deals, it's about power, loyalty, and betrayal. Today, we're diving into the dark history of 10 mobsters who ruled with an iron fist, leaving fear in their wake. Who were these men who held entire neighborhoods in a grip of terror? Let's unravel their stories and discover how they became legends of the underworld. Number 10. James Whitey Bulger. James Whitey Bulger was a name that sent chills down the spine of Boston's residents during the 1970s and 1980s. He was more than just a mob boss. He was a master manipulator. Bulger controlled the Winter Hill Gang and used fear to silence anyone who dared oppose him. But what made him even more dangerous was his secret deal with the FBI. Yes, you heard that right. For years, Bulger acted as an informant, feeding information to the FBI about rival gangs while continuing his own criminal activities. His reign came to an end when he went on the run for 16 years, hiding across the country until his capture in 2011. Number 9. Tony Accardo. Known as Joe Batters, Tony Accardo was one of the most powerful leaders of the Chicago outfit, the same crime family once led by Al Capone. Unlike many mobsters who craved the spotlight, Accardo preferred to operate from the shadows. Under his leadership, the outfit expanded into various businesses, including gambling, extortion, and even legitimate industries. Despite his brutal reputation, Accardo was never convicted of a serious crime. His strategy was simple: keep a low profile, eliminate threats, and ensure loyalty from his associates. Incredibly, Accardo managed to avoid spending a single night in jail throughout his criminal career, a feat that few mobsters could ever dream of. Number 8. Albert Anastasia. If there's one name synonymous with fear in the 1950s, it's Albert Anastasia, often referred to as the Mad Hatter or Lord High Executioner. As one of the founders of Murder Inc., a group of contract killers hired by the mob, Anastasia was responsible for countless hits. He thrived on the chaos of the underworld, using violence as a tool to control rivals and instill terror. But even the most feared mobsters are not invincible. In 1957, Anastasia met his end in a barber shop, shot by masked gunmen in broad daylight. His death marked the end of one of the bloodiest chapters in organized crime history. Number 7. Bugsy Siegel. Bugsy Siegel is often credited as one of the visionaries behind Las Vegas as we know it today. But before he was a casino kingpin, Siegel was a feared mob enforcer in New York. He had the looks of a movie star, but the ruthlessness of a cold-blooded killer. He was a key member of the Jewish Mafia, working alongside Meyer Lansky to build a criminal empire. Siegel's dream was to turn Las Vegas into a gambler's paradise, but his ambition came with a cost. He overspent millions building the Flamingo Hotel, which angered his mob associates. In 1947, Siegel was shot dead in his Beverly Hills home, becoming a symbol of how quickly fortunes can change in the mob world. Number 6. Meyer Lansky. Meyer Lansky was known as the mob's accountant. Unlike many of his counterparts, Lansky wasn't known for violence, but rather for his genius in money laundering. He played a crucial role in turning organized crime into a profitable business, creating a network of casinos and offshore accounts that hid millions in illegal profits. Lansky's influence was so great that at one point, he was rumored to have more control over organized crime than even the infamous Mafia bosses. Despite his vast criminal empire, Lansky avoided prison for most of his life, proving that sometimes brains can be even more powerful than brawn in the world of organized crime. Number 5. Vito Genovese. Vito Genovese was a man who craved power more than anything else. He worked his way up through the ranks to eventually control the Genovese crime family, one of the 5 families of New York. Genovese was ruthless, ordering hits on anyone who stood in his way, including other mobsters. He even had ties to Benito Mussolini's fascist regime in Italy, but Genovese's hunger for control would eventually be his downfall. In 1959, he was arrested and sentenced to 15 years in prison, where he continued to pull the strings of his empire until his death behind bars. Number 4. John Gotti. John Gotti, also known as the Teflon Don, was one of the most flamboyant mobsters in history. He loved the spotlight, appearing on magazine covers and openly flaunting his wealth. Gotti became the leader of the Gambino crime family after orchestrating the murder of his predecessor, Paul Castellano. What made Gotti unique was his ability to evade convictions. For years, prosecutors tried to bring him down, but nothing would stick. However, his luck ran out in 1992 when his underboss, Sammy the Bull Gravano, turned on him, leading to Gotti's life sentence. The Teflon Don's reign ended with him dying in prison in 2002. Number 3. Carlo Gambino. Carlo Gambino was the epitome of a calculated mob boss. He ruled the Gambino crime family with a quiet but firm hand for nearly 2 decades. Gambino was known for his ability to stay out of the public eye, focusing on building alliances and keeping the peace between the 5 families. Unlike many of his counterparts, Gambino died of natural causes in 1976, a rare fate for someone involved in organized crime. His ability to avoid the law and maintain control without the use of excessive violence made him one of the most respected and feared mobsters of his time. Number 2. Al Capone. Al Capone, or Scarface, is arguably the most famous mobster of all time. During the Prohibition era, Capone controlled the Chicago underworld with an iron fist. He was involved in bootlegging, gambling, and the infamous St. Valentine's Day massacre, where 7 members of a rival gang were brutally gunned down. Despite his violent reputation, it wasn't murder that brought Capone down, but tax evasion. In 1931, he was sentenced to 11 years in prison. His decline was swift, and he spent his final years suffering from illness before passing away in 1947. Number 1. Lucky Luciano. Topping our list is the man who revolutionized organized crime in America, Lucky Luciano. Luciano is often credited with creating the structure of the modern Mafia by establishing the Commission, a board of directors for the 5 families of New York. This system reduced infighting and helped the Mafia grow into a powerful organization. Luciano's criminal activities ranged from bootlegging to running a nationwide prostitution ring. He was eventually convicted and deported to Italy, but continued to influence the Mafia from afar. Even in exile, Lucky Luciano remained one of the most powerful figures in the underworld until his death in 1962. The world of organized crime is full of larger-than-life characters whose legacies still haunt us today. These men ruled their empires with ruthless efficiency, leaving behind stories that continue to captivate and terrify. If you found this deep dive into the world of the mob interesting, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Thanks for watching.